think they were planning to, but then didn't end up serving the 2 years, and then the other guys came back in time. So I don't think it's a stretch. I mean, especially I almost look at the 2018 class and say, if a guy's good enough, which there's a lot of really good players, I really would like to see Utah State offer a lot of these 2018 guys, especially the ones that are going on missions. And, like I say, there's some that are, some aren't. Same thing with 2017. One of the guys that I've liked for quite a while, Jaron Kunt, he's from Harriman. He's committed to BYU, but he was at the Utah State game on Saturday. He's a big kid. He's about 6'7", really tall. Just kind of because Harriman has been so good, he only played part of the year last year, and he's really come on strong this year. And he's a little bit raw, he's a little bit tall and everything, but you'd be an amazing guy to steal from BYU. I don't know what the likelihood of that is. He didn't really tell me, but so that's kind of an interesting side note on recruiting. I could even pull up some of these guys. I mean, in my opinion, East has a bunch of D1 guys. AJ Aloa, I think, is a really good. He's kind of a skilled guy right now. He could end up being, more of like a linebacker or something, because he is 6'3", 200 pounds. He could, for East, he plays cornerback and wide receiver, but that's kind of just a different beast because they've got so many linemen and linebackers on that team that's where he plays right now. But you never know, something could change on that. Actually, let me pull up the 2018 before we go back to the some Air Force thoughts. The 18 class is completely loaded, in my opinion. I mean, like I mentioned, East. I mean, they've got their whole offensive line is. They're juniors this year, so they're 2018 recruits. There's Paul Miley. He's got offers from the 3 in-state schools. There's a couple guys for Timpview. Jackson Cravens is one of them. He's starting to bring in a bunch of offers. So it'll be fun to watch the 2018 class. I think there's a couple pretty good quarterbacks. There's a couple pretty good receivers, but a lot good offensive and defensive linemen. So that'll be something that something to keep an eye on. One more shameless plug, not shameless plug, but a plug for a guy that I really like to watch. And if you have a chance to watch any of those Alta games on the High School Rewind, or go to YouTube and watch Alta play, watch any of their games, and you're going to want to watch a guy named Tulu Afu. He plays fullback for that team, and along with Davis as a really impressive running back. Tulu Afu, he's got really long hair, so his hair kind of flows out of his helmet, and that guy is just fun to watch. I mean, he's your typical linebacker, fullback guy that he just flies around. He doesn't even have any regard for flies around and hits guys on offense and defense. He just goes 100 miles an hour all the time. So he's one that you've got to watch. Pull up, like I said, High School Rewind on YouTube. Check it out. Watch Alta's game, especially that. Well, I guess Alta Timpview was on, KSL or something, so I don't know if there's a way to watch that one, but you can watch a couple of Alta's games on YouTube. That High School Rewind is a good way to watch the game back. So, let's wrap up our thoughts on our first game then, Seth. We know we're gonna. I guess we talked about the offensive line. We talked about Brooks being everything and how that's going to affect this week's game. What are your other thoughts from the first 4 games so far this year, guys?
Me, real quick, and I'll keep it short because my biggest rant was about our right tackle rotating his play. But I just get really frustrated. We're moving the ball. We pick up a first down. We run it down. Pick up another first down, and then all of a sudden we decide to go quick. And everybody in the universe that has ever watched Utah State, when we try to snap the ball with 30 seconds left on the play clock, there's 2 plays that it's going to be. It's going to be a dive or it's going to be a bubble screen every single time.
It's usually a repeat of the last play.
It is. And we usually lose 3-4 yards, and all of a sudden we're in 2nd and 14. And I'm sick of it. I just get sick and tired of seeing it, and it puts the offense in bad positions, to be successful. And the way, Brian talked about how, ball control against Boise is going to be important. I think we just need to be controlled on what we do. If we're going to run tempo.
Don't waste a down. You stole mine because they were just wasting a down when they went fast. They went quick and wasted a down.
Every time. And I'm sitting here right now watching, I'm not sitting here watching as we talk, but I was watching the replay of the Air Force game. And we went down, they went down, kicked field goal, we got the ball back. We went 3 and out, they went down, kicked field goal, we get the ball back. 2 big pass plays, boom, boom, 7-3. We hold them. I think they went 3 and out, I'm not sure. And then I think the next possessions when we didn't get any favors from the refs, and people can blame that game on the refs all they want. That catch by Tarver in the end zone, that's beyond me. The fumble by Myers, the only thing I can think of is the ball was moving a little bit, but it looked like he regained control before he hit the ground. Then it came out. So maybe they were seeing that a little bit. Mm-hmm. Rodriguez's catch on 4th down was complete crap. His hands were under the ball the whole time. It popped out and he caught it anyway, kind of like the Natson deal with BYU a few years ago, to pick up that big first down in that game. But that went against us. I just don't remember seeing a game that 3 calls that were reviewed that were all could have went, I think they were more like 90-10, and they picked the 10% every single time, and I don't understand it. I don't, the Tarver thing is beyond me. I have no idea why he called it incomplete in the first place. He had both feet down, actually, because he drug, as he was sliding, he drug his other foot.
Well, and even if he bothered a little bit, he got his 2nd foot on.
Yeah, exactly.
In plenty of time.
He had control of it all the way to the ground. It didn't move when he hit the ground. It didn't do anything. So, I don't know. I'm not going to blame the game on that. Kent Myers' interception, right before half, I was like, oh, well, that's deep. Whatever, it's almost like a punt. But then the defense, for whatever reason, couldn't stop them. They started throwing the ball. People weren't thinking with their eyes. They were thinking and they weren't using their eyes or whatnot. People got behind them, a couple big pass plays. They go down and score off that turnover. Then they score off of the fumble, that didn't get overturned. But I think I was watching one play, and after this, I'll take a picture of it and tweet it out. We run this, we're on the 42-yard line, 43-yard line, and it's in the first quarter, about 5 minutes left in the game. And Ken has a read, and he hands it off to Lindsey, and Lindsey gets stuffed. I mean, the linemen don't, whatever. I mean, they got, I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people in the box. Kent gives it, and if Kent would have kept that, he'd been like Forrest Gump, man. He would have been running like forever, you know. So I don't know. I think Kent played that really well against Boise last year. I thought. I mean, he had a touchdown on it.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna. I'm not saying he's got to score, but he's gonna have to be effective with his legs, you know. And I think that 1.3%, or I'm sorry, 1.3 yards per carry. I don't care if you're playing Salt Lake Community College. You know what I mean? You're probably not going to win. I mean, you gotta be able to move the ball on the ground, and Brian's been emphasizing that, and I couldn't agree more. You know, I mean, you can throw for 400 yards or whatever he did, you know. And I did a screenshot actually of last year's game versus Air Force versus this year's game, and it's spooky how close the stats are. Kent threw for more touchdowns, you know, but the final score was a lot higher. We lost by 7 points, and I don't know. And then my other two rants about the game, and then I'll be done, and then Brian can talk. One of them is the fake field goal. I don't know why we're faking a field goal with 17 yards to pick up the first down. Coach Wells says that it was there. We just missed a block, but for hell's sakes, it's 17 yards. You know, I mean, and you're throwing it to your kicker. I mean, you know, I don't know. I don't know if he thought it was 4th and 7 and he's not saying that and it was just a mistake or what, but I don't know.
Your kicker had to make every inch of that 17 yards. It wasn't like a one.
First down was it?
Yeah.
And then
4th and short.
When everybody had left the game, basically, because we were down 14 points, then we go down and score, and we get we go for an onside kick, and they kick a damn pooch kick. I mean, what? You might as well just hand them the ball. I mean, you know, at least try a traditional onside kick. You know, I just don't understand. I don't understand it. I don't. But anyway, those are, I'm not going to, you know, disagree with the play calling or anything like that. I think that was actually halfway decent this game, you know. Maybe it's because we tried to stretch the field and we actually did stretch the field. I wasn't happy with the running game. But all I know is if we run the ball for 40 yards and throw the ball for 360 this week, we're probably not going to win that game either. We're going to have to turn the ball over. We're going to have to make Boise turn the ball over. We're not going to be able to turn the ball over, but Boise's going to have to, you know, we're going to have to get takeaways just like we did last year. I'm not saying 7, but we're going to have to get takeaways. We're going to have to capitalize on those takeaways. And when we get it inside the red zone, we're going to have to score touchdowns and not fake field goals or miss field goals or kick field goals. You know, we got to score touchdowns. I mean, you got to keep pace with those guys. And I'm not too sure, Brian, you don't think that they're going to run it up, but that's against everything Boise's, you know, that's against their DNA. I think they'd run it up on anybody if they could. And Harsin, you know, I know Wells and Harsin are really good friends, you know, but I don't think Harson's really a part of that good old boy club like, you know, that we're thinking that Matt Wells might be like, you know, or a part of. But
and that's what I was saying before we started recording is I don't see the killer instinct of this team, and really it's the play calling, it's the coaches, it's the players, all of the above. Let's pretend that Utah State does get off to a really fast start. They get up by 7 points, 14 points. I don't know if Utah State's going to have that killer instinct to put them away. You know, maybe that defense last year, and I think we've mentioned it, that defense last year, you know, kept getting turnovers and just kept getting turnovers and kept getting turnovers, and there was a killer instinct that, you know, they cashed those into touchdowns. But that's basically the only time I've ever seen a Matt Wells team do that. And I almost feel bad saying that, and I was looking back and kind of making sure that I wasn't going to sound like an idiot. But maybe you guys can think of some more that I can or that I didn't see, but